Time now for Business with Kate Moody. Kate, good to see you.
Hi, Monty.
So car makers around the world are facing another challenge, a shortage of semiconductor chips.
Yeah, this is a global shortage that's really affecting manufacturers across the globe, the manufacturers that are already struggling to revamp their business from that initial shock of the pandemic and lockdowns. French producer Renault and Stellantis, the new PSA Fiat Chrysler group, have said that some of their European factories are being forced to slam on the brakes this week. There are a limited number of chip makers. Most of them are based in Asia, and analysts say they're struggling to meet growing demand. Luke Schrago reports.
They're one of the smallest components used in automaking, and yet one of the most vital. Semiconductors control all aspects of modern vehicular electronics, from brake sensors to the gearbox and entertainment systems. Now, a global shortage has left car makers like Renault temporarily shuttering factories.
La direction a été très claire, elle a été pas alarmiste, mais elle a dit qu'effectivement, il fallait craindre tout simplement, que cela puisse se reproduire, on va dire, dans les semaines et les mois à venir.
It's not just Renault either. General Motors in the United States has suspended production at several of its American plants, along with Toyota and Ford, which has predicted a 10 to 20% drop in production. In Europe, Volkswagen and subsidiary Audi have made similar moves in recent weeks, furloughing nearly 20,000 staff in total. The cause of the global chip shortage, the coronavirus pandemic.
La construction de véhicules automobiles a fortement baissé au début du premier confinement parce que les concessions étaient fermées, donc il y avait moins de voitures à vendre et donc moins à construire aussi. Et du coup, les fabricants de semi-conducteurs, ils ont repriorisé la production vers l'électroménager, vers les serveurs pour la 5G et les services informatiques, vers les consoles de jeux vidéo aussi.
That's now led to a bottleneck in logistics worldwide.
另外一方面呢，也是一个全球性，也不单单是中国缺，全球其他的地方，特别像欧美日也同样紧缺。当然，这个紧缺可能还有一段时间。
Possibly not as long as some may fear. Taiwan manufactures well over half the world's semiconductors and has said it'd ramp up production, though it's thought the shortfall could last until next autumn.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. The major European indices closed higher, with stocks in Milan outperforming after the former European Central Bank President Mario Draghi opened a final round of talks aimed at forming a new government in Italy. Oil prices, meanwhile, rose to their highest level in over a year, with Brent crude hitting a pre-pandemic level of $60 per barrel. Wall Street's also seen gains, about a bit above 0.75 percentage point there across the board. The Dow Jones managing a new record high there at the closing bell. Investors are looking for signs that the U.S. Congress will pass a hefty coronavirus stimulus package, even if it happens to happen without bipartisan support. Well, President Joe Biden and his Democratic Party are already walking back expectations for the minimum wage to be more than doubled to $15 per hour. It was one of the proposals in his $1.9 trillion stimulus plan. A new report from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says the move would cost some 1.4 million jobs over the next 4 years, but that it could lift 900,000 people out of poverty. Critics have warned that increasing the minimum wage could hold back small businesses, while Biden and many supporters say it's key to addressing income inequality. The White House said on Monday it's not sure the change will now be included in the COVID relief legislation. It's one of the issues that has sparked opposition among Republicans, and Biden is hoping for bipartisan support on the overall plan. The president says he may tackle the issue separately at a later time. The minimum hourly wage was last raised in 2009, although some states have brought in higher thresholds since then. The price of Bitcoin has skyrocketed to a new high near $45,000 after a boost from electric car maker Tesla. The company said it had invested $1.5 billion in the cryptocurrency and that it planned to begin accepting it as a form of payment. Founder and CEO Elon Musk has repeatedly endorsed Bitcoin and other digital currencies on social media in recent weeks as its value has soared. But regulators and financial experts warn that it remains volatile and highly risky. This weekend, ECB Chief Christine Lagarde repeated her position that it should be considered a speculative asset rather than a currency. Still, some analysts say Tesla's stance could prove to be a game changer.
But if Tesla's going to price cars and say this car costs a Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoins or 2.5 or whatever, there's a certain currency normalization that could happen simply because of large transactions like that happening in Bitcoin terms as opposed to in US dollar terms and being immediately converted.
Okay, so this question that we've been tackling for the last decade or so, is Bitcoin a currency or is it an investment? And if it's a currency, just how much is it really worth?
And you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin.
Yes, I don't know how many Bitcoins. I think that's the point. It'll depend on the day, really.
I need some Bitcoin.
I think we're a little late on the boat there.
All right. Thanks, Kate.
Residents from France's disadvantaged suburbs tell their own stories and take the viewers beyond the usual clichés about the French banlieue.
Sur le plan humain, c'est une expérience de fou en fait.
Les habitants valent beaucoup mieux que ce qu'on en dit.
Tu rends fier ta ville, les gens qui, quand ils me voient dans la rue, me disent « je suis fier de toi, je t'ai vu passer à la télé, c'est bien comment t'as parlé, tu nous as bien représenté ».
Watch their daily reality in the Banlieue Project on France 24 and France24.com.